Texas Senate passes bill that removes requirement to teach Ku Klux Klan as morally wrong. They also removed the requirement to teach the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. Again, the Texas Senate passes a bill that removes the requirement to teach the Ku Klux Klan as morally wrong in school. And they also removed the requirement to teach the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. My response is real simple. That sounds just about right with Texas. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I look at it from a lot of different angles, but just overall, where I land on it, it's racism. At the end of the day, it shouldn't really be no question about if the Ku Klux Klan is morally right or wrong.
That part, but okay.
The Martin Luther King speech. I don't feel like they have to teach it, but I don't even know why that's even like part of the
broad
right
the language.
That's the part that has me like, what? Like, why
that's
are y'all
probably the more
that?
inclusive part of Black history that can make sense.
What would it, like some parts of like women's suffrage. You don't gotta talk about like Susan B. Anthony. You don't gotta talk about Cesar Chavez and things like that. So I do see it as racist. Some people might try to spin it more of like we want national cohesion and we don't want to confuse the children about
children become adults. Fuck all that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like
you'll never go to, let's say, Germany and hear them say, well, the Nazis they weren't morally wrong. Like in Germany, they teach them about, this was the worst thing. Hitler was the worst person. It wasn't like he was just doing what he had to do for the country. It was like, nah, this was horrible.
And what's the old cliche saying? If you don't know your history, don't repeat it. And it looks a lot like what they're
But we know it is still
do.
repeated, and that's the problem.
And you don't ever want to make the mistake of making it seem like the Ku Klux Klan is like something that's okay.
Right.
Or even just a passing phase.
Right. And just even like them just saying that is disrespectful. So it's like, just to simplify it, it's racist. Just simple.
I know this might sound crazy coming from me, but I was still shocked to see this with the climate of everything that's happened in this past year. And call me delusional or whatever, but for them to be that bold to put something in line like that, like I was hoping it was like some type of hoax or something, or maybe I was misunderstanding something. But I really looked into it, and I'm like, this is like they dead serious with this, like. It's like it seems like kind of like a pushback.
It's I don't know what the overall like intention or motivation is, but critical race theory is like a major thing that's popular in like politics and the media right now. And they don't want to teach it to children because they feel like it might confuse them or politicize them against America, against the United States of America.
Against white people, bro.
Yeah, basically
keep
against
it
white
100,
people,
bro. That's what it is. They know Ku Klux Klan is associated with white people,
right? And
they're trying to, I guess, do the whole all white people aren't bad, and that's their. I don't know why there's not other ways they can't say that, but that's supposed to be their way of
I guess I'll
that.
bring it up now. Like I was saying before we started, when I was like 13 years old, I was going to the continuation school at Crossroads. Mm-hmm. My history teacher had a mock slave auction for us. So half the students were slaves, half the students were slave owners, and he literally had us buying and selling our classmates.
And what was the gist of that? Did he say, or do you remember?
Yeah. And so his perspective on slavery was it was just an economic reality of the time. It wasn't that they were bad people. It wasn't even that they were doing a bad thing. It's just that they were doing what was the custom.
It wasn't a human rights issue.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
It was just purely economical. Was his perspective.
Hey, if he did that and tried that in 2021, y'all parents would have been able to sue the living spit out that nigga. Y'all would have been living good.
It was just like it was weird, and we did it. I thought it was weird back then. Like at 13, I was like, shit is strange.
Did no parent press them about it? Is that not?
Well, no, we was in a continuation school, so it was like they.
Y'all was already bad kids.
Yeah, they wasn't even sure
that's
about
That's roughed up.
They didn't care about it.
Like you deserve this. That's deep.
Y'all slaves anyway.
Like Like, who chose? Who was who?
Okay. Yeah, no, it was the teacher. The teacher chose. It was kind of funny.
See, and that says a lot.
You're fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, for real. What the fuck was that? Like, come on now, get it together.
But yeah, but that kind of makes me feel like it's that same thing because white people. I feel like when white people are doing something racist, they try to be like, it's not racist. It's
that was the time.
This is the time, and we're doing this for
it's a period
country,
piece. Like
right?
no,
or something like that. They always try to remove it from being racist. But it's like nah, it was a black and white thing. You weren't enslaving white people. It was
right.
Black people.
Those
across
were indentured
the board.
servants.
Right.
They signed up
I
for
mean,
that shit.
even though they treated Hispanics terrible, they weren't enslaving them at the degree that we were, or segregating at the same degree. So they still was colored only, and all. You know what I'm saying? It was still specific to
us. The history of the Ku Klux Klan. It's like I don't even see how you could even pose an argument that they weren't morally wrong. Like to teach that they were morally right or morally
it's a people
neutral.
thing. Like
I guess they're trying to. I guess they weren't from the research I did. If you want to say that as a teacher, you're still allowed to say that. If you want to teach that, you can still teach that. What they're saying is you're not forced to have to
put that in
to say that, right? You don't. It doesn't have to be in your syllabus or your curriculum,
right?
That the KKK was morally wrong, which is still trash. Like, why would you even want to remotely? But I mean, I know because the people in the Senate is probably a part of that. To be real,
playing devil's advocate, I like hearing nuanced opinions on things. So it's like I don't like when people are forced to have like the same opinion on things. But at the same time, it's kind of like
because that's a human thing though. Like I don't care, black, white, whatever color, whatever age. Anybody should be able to agree on certain things. Like certain things is just flat out wrong. You don't need no book or no Bible or nothing to tell you that. You just know that is wrong. Period.
I feel
that's
the
end of it.
But it's just it's just the forced aspect of it. It's like I don't want to force somebody to say something. If you really don't feel it, I don't want you to say it. Like if you don't really feel like it was wrong, I don't want you to say that it was wrong. That's just me on like a I don't know existential.
And that's what college is for, personally, or at least high school. But we're messing with the conditioning of young Americans.
Yeah,
period. That's what it is. They're editing the conditioning. I mean, personally, for me, I feel like it feeds into my already conspiracy theory thinking when it comes to histories in general. We've seen it in the black community. All of our history gets stripped away. We get Rosa Parks, MLK, great people. Harriet Tubman, great people. However, barely a drop in the bucket.
End there. Yeah.
Barely a drop in the bucket considering the people who have been pioneers, been inventors, been people who have done great things for not only America but humanity. But we're not speaking on that. We get George Washington Carver and the peanut butter, and we get Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. Like we get very few figures that are great. Don't get me wrong.
And it's also like an unwritten rule, even with Malcolm. Like,
and it's also skewed information.
They're not allowed to say Malcolm was a good.
But it's skewed information as well. Like we know only so much about these individuals, but not the absolute greatest things that have been attributed to them, and the reason why they're names that should be household or otherwise.
And
like with Texas taking this away,
that's all we got. Like
as far as recognition,
yeah, exactly. And that's
because we weeded out all the other ones.
If you ain't gonna talk about him, who is you gonna talk about? You won't even talk about the person that white people love to try to use as like a armor when they having a debate with black people, and you don't even have to teach that. I think like that's a great point because I was wondering why they would even add that.
Like,
but I think that's what that is. You basically don't have to teach any type of black history at this point.
That's like not the whole civil rights movement, but that's a big part of the civil rights movement.
Huge part of it.
Talk about the civil rights movement, which isn't just important for black people; it's important for women. It's important for everybody.
Right.
You remove Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream speech. That's kind of like it helps contextualize that whole period of American history.
Yeah, ultimately, I feel like it's kind of, obviously fucked up in a lot of different ways. But like I said, it feeds into that whole. Only the people before us get to dictate what the people after us learn. Period. And right now, I feel like we're just getting to see it in absolute action. And it fucking sucks. But for me, I'm not surprised because it's like they've been doing this with Black history. Why wouldn't they like whittle things down even further, make things even more particular? Because that's literally what they've been
crazy.
doing for years. Literally, like, okay, well, this broad aspect has been touched up on and has been hindered in some way, shape, or form. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's make it to where every single form of it is nitpicked at and talked about and wrong or whatever the case may be. And I feel like it's very on brand for America right now. Like, I'm not too surprised.
Preach.
Like, it's unfortunate.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, I feel bad, but I actually was surprised. I'm not even gonna lie.
And
after everything that just happened,
I can't.
y'all
knock
still
you.
bold enough.
You
to
tried
do
to
that.
have good faith in it. For me, like I said, it satisfied the conspiracy theory of like history books and shit. For me, throughout my lifetime, like we really don't know. And then getting older and learning more about Black culture and stuff, it's like, oh damn, we really don't know. Fuck. And then now it's like, oh damn, like now we're getting the example of how we don't know.
Right.
Because of shit like this that is enacted far in decades before our existence or whatever. And it's like, this is how it starts. This is how the seclusion or inclusion of certain information gets passed on moving forward. Like, it makes me consider, like, we're going through a pandemic. This is going to be in history books, bro. How is it going to be shaped and mispresented? And how is it going to be talked about? Because it's never going to be how it was, period.
Right. And I hate to preach to the choir, but this just shows even more so how we really need our own like schools and
that
like,
part.
all
That's a
type
major
of,
part.
And for myself, I was raised in Christian school, so it's like I was on a Christian curriculum. For me, Charles Darwin evolution was a very small paragraph, meaning 5 to 7 sentences for real. On these people and topics. It wasn't until high school, and I'm an independent study that's public, and it's like, oh shit, evolution. Like, oh, this is what it's about. Like, oh, this is what Charles Darwin's about. Then college, etc. But like having the Christian aspect of sheltering and taking out certain things for several years of my life, it's like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't learn about a lot of different things until I was in public high school in some fashion.
Yeah, but that's a big, like you said, like letting your oppressor teach your children. It's like, what do you expect? So I'm not even really mad at him about it. It's just kind of like
we're seeing how humanity goes
like,
personally.
Yeah.
Like, we see how generations in humanity and history goes. I feel like we don't know a fraction of the history of what's happened before us because they get to control what gets passed down, just like we get to control what gets passed down, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're controlling what gets passed down.
Black men and women that we should know about that we probably don't know about.
No, we absolutely don't. Not probably. We don't. Like, all the Black inventors, like, most of our common household things are by Black inventors, and we never know it until we find a fucking list on BuzzFeed or some shit that's real obscure, even more obscure, of like, oh, this is the great Black inventors you didn't know about. And like, nah. Nah. Like,
yeah. And, the hell was I about to say? I don't even remember. All right, whatever. I forgot. We'll move on.